everyone, welcome to Listen, Love, Connect. I'm Savannah Palafox, your host, and today's guest is Sumari Fubara. We will be talking about how to purge your social media, which is a huge thing right now as everyone seems so addicted to their phones. It is sometimes good to take a detox. Let's head over to Somi and get started.
Listen, Love, Connect is brought to you by Exceptional Heroes.
So today we are talking about social media and our mental health. So there is a lot to cover. It's a topic of many people who have talked about it, but we are just going to try to simplify it as much as possible. Social media came out a long time ago with MySpace and all that. So in this journey of social media, what have you seen with people's mental health? Has it gotten worse because there's so many more platforms now, or what are your thoughts?
All right. So from a social media research standpoint and from the statistics, it is clear now that social media is greatly affecting our mental health. Mm-hmm. Now, it's so interesting when you mentioned MySpace. MySpace seems like eons ago, I don't even know. So Facebook started in 2006 or thereabouts? Is that when?
Thereabout. I wasn't allowed to use social media until I got to high school, which was in 2014. And I know Facebook was already started.
Yeah, I know that I didn't get onto Facebook because everyone was pushing for me to get on Facebook. I know I didn't get onto Facebook till almost 2009, 2010. But by then, I know that Facebook was already the thing. Because for years, people are like, you should get on Facebook. That's how you can keep in touch and connect with. And initially, I felt that that's what it was. Like when I first got on Facebook, it was so great to connect people that you haven't seen in years, or just people that you had lost contact with some way, somehow. You went to high school with them, elementary school, college, whatever the case may be. However, I can say for me personally, it quickly turned into it wasn't bad initially for my mental health. It was just consuming.
Yeah. I heard a lot of people. Go ahead.
No, go. You go.
During that time period, I remember hearing my parents saying about articles that were saying that people were so much on Facebook that they were getting fired from their jobs because they were just so consumed with it.
Yes. So it became this new drug.
Yeah.
Literally. And it was the effect of the drug was like the slow seeping kind of drug. But as with certain things now in our society, we normalize or minimize the effects of the drug on us, especially if we can see some positives to the drug.
Yes.
So I know that when I first got on social media, it was just so exciting to connect with all these people, all of my friends, it had been sometimes 25, 30 years since I connected with these people. So it was here I got to be in America and connect with all these people, wherever they've gone now. And it was so exciting and exhilarating. And it was, and then it was like you said, it was chunks of time spent on social media. Yeah. People I remember people telling me that they would stay up late. They were chatting on, on social media. And, or they connected with somebody. And so it became, like I said, this drug and the addiction to this drug was really, it seemed slow, but it wasn't slow, and it was really quick.
Yes. Yeah. So for me, social media, like, there are like, there's some good parts to it, like, and then some bad parts to it of like, sometimes I can't go without looking at it at night, which is a struggle a lot of times. But then there are times like where I forgot my phone. I was going to school and I forgot my phone at home. And I told my teacher, I go, oh, dang it, I forgot my phone at home. And he's like, oh my goodness, now what are you going to do without your social media platform? But looking back, whenever I forget my phone at home and I'm at work or I was at school, it wasn't that big of a deal. I caught myself able to finish my homework a lot faster because I didn't have that distraction. And then also, I was able to connect more with people face to face. We weren't just sitting at a table on our phones. I was reading an article by Healthline, and they said that, I forget the age group that they used, but they said those with who have 7 to 11 platforms of social media experience depression and anxiety more, and then people with 0 to 2 platforms experience depression and anxiety less. What are your thoughts on that?
7, like when you just said that, my entire body just went into complete shock. Like literally. I don't know if it translated on camera, but I was like, is she reading that? 7 to 11
social media platforms.
Social media. Okay, so
well, if you think, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, because I was like, you think about it, you got Instagram, you got Facebook, you got TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat. That's 5. I don't know what else is out there.
LinkedIn.
Oh yes, LinkedIn.
WhatsApp.
Okay, that's 7.
Okay, I don't
YouTube.
See. That's why YouTube.
So that's 8. I don't know anymore. If you know of more social media platforms, you can comment down below, but I'll also put the link down below to this article. But yeah, 7, those people using 7 to 11 social media platforms experience depression and anxiety than people using 0 and or 2 platforms.
So yeah, so that just raised my anxiety level. Hearing that. So interesting enough, this was 2017, 2018. And, I was working in Nigeria at that time. And that's when everybody was like, so prior to that, I should say this, I was only on Facebook. I didn't have any other social media platforms. And it quickly became apparent to me that something was wrong here.
Yeah.
And so it's so funny, people that knew me would text me and be like, Somi, are you okay? I haven't seen you on social media and your account has been deactivated. So I would do, and we're going to talk about this towards the end. So maybe I'll save this particular story towards the end. But what I was going to say is at that time, they were like, Somi, you're doing this incredible work. You need to be on Twitter, you need to be on LinkedIn, and you need to be on Facebook and Instagram. And, and at that time, I only knew of those 4, literally, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And I remember in 2018, I only had Facebook, and then I had Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And I literally went to a conference where they promoted you being on multiple social media platforms.
Yeah.
And they gave this, like, this is how you build your following here, and this is how you do this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so behind. I'm only on Facebook. I have to get. So I get these other 3 social media platforms. And almost immediately, Savannah, I was like, oh no. Like I developed a love-hate relationship with all of social media to the point where I was just like, I think I'm just gonna get off on all of them. Currently, I'm only on Instagram and LinkedIn. I don't know I barely do anything on LinkedIn. I haven't updated my LinkedIn since like 2018 or 2019. It's, been that long. So the only platform that I'm really active on right now is Instagram. I got rid of my Facebook and I got rid of my Twitter. Because given the work that I do, I'm very a big component of, I can't, and this is just even from a parental standpoint and being a parent, we are a lot about, even in the mental health profession, do as I say. I'm going to give you all these tools. I'm going to tell you all these things you need to do for your mental health and self-care, but we don't do it. Right. We don't apply it in our lives. So it's more of this hierarchy of, I'm going to tell you what you need to do. And then we are jacked. Yeah, as mental health professionals, because our self-care is like, we're not even really taught that in school. So at that point, when I think of somebody having 7 to 11, like I can't even wrap my brain around that. Yeah. Like there's no way, given all the content. There are times even on Instagram that I'm like, I'm not doing it today. Yeah. And we're going to talk about this, about unfollowing and deleting and social media purging. I would say my social feed is one of the most positive, uplifting, inspiring social feeds out there. I probably will guarantee it. Yeah. Because when I get on my feed, I don't walk away drained. I don't walk away feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing enough. Oh, look at this person and all the comparison. I don't feel anxiety. I don't feel depression. I don't feel any of that stuff. What I feel like is like, oh my gosh, look at all these people doing amazing and great work. And how do I get all this great information that they're doing out? And so that becomes a lot of my focus. So I will not, that statistics that you just read from Healthline, and being connected with Healthline, I just did a series with them. I'm not surprised. There's no way, given the extensive, sometimes triggering content on social media, and you are on 11 of them. Right. Even just 2, I'm just like, are you kidding me? Right, yeah. It's a lot. So I am really very concerned, especially with the up and coming generation. I don't know what we call them, Generation Z or Generation, I don't know what they're called. I don't even know what I am. It's okay. I don't even know what it is, but I'm concerned, and I think about my son, and then I think about the creators of social media. When I talked about there is, for anybody that hasn't watched this, you need to watch it. There's a documentary called The Social Dilemma. Yes. And it's where the initial creators of social media, majority of them are no longer working, whether with Meta, Instagram, whatever social media platform that years ago, they're the ones that created or helped create social media. They do not allow their children to be on social media. Some of them don't even allow their children to have phones. So as a parent, I'm taking my lead from these people that created this drug. Yeah. Like, yeah, you don't want to give your child, or you don't want to take this drug. Yeah. We don't, because so to have the initial creators of social media saying, yeah, this is no good, that really was like jarring to me. Yeah. I'm like, what don't we really know? We know some things, but what don't we really know, especially now with these algorithms and everything else? So I'm not surprised with that statistic, but I'm also like, whoa, 7 to 11. Yeah. when do you live? When do you sleep? When do you, or do you just have these platforms and do nothing with them? Then what's the point? Because if you have them, you're active on them.
Well, I was watching something and they said a person on average is on social media a total of 11 hours.
In the day?
Like, you know how you do it like in spurts, like if you're on you're doing work and then you go on your phone or stuff like that. Yeah, collectively 11 hours.
Oh, I'm so behind. I feel like if I'm on there, like I keep track on my phone, my screen time. And if it's over 2 hours, I'm like, yo, that's way too much time. That's 2 hours of you doing something. Now, granted, because my social media is so, I've purged it so that I don't see or engage with anything that is not helpful, invigorating. A lot of that 2 hours is a lot of work, actually. Yeah. You know, whether connecting with this person to be on a podcast, or so some of the being a consultant and being, you know, working for being self-employed, you have to network. And then during COVID, we weren't really out there networking. Right. And even now, you're not doing much networking in person. A lot of it is through social media aspects.
And so I think that's the hardest part.
Right. So even with that, I'm like, okay, what work do I need to do from a social media perspective and stick to that, make that part of my working day?
Yes.
As opposed to where it's like you said, we're multitasking. So I'm talking to you, I'm on my phone, look at it, or we're at dinner and I'm taking multiple pictures, or I'm at an event and I'm taking multiple pictures. Like I was just at a gala event on Tuesday and I was just so relieved. At my table are social media, like phones, were not even on the table.
That's good.
Because nowadays you have to, like, you're looking at people, like, I mean, I tell people all the time, when people are like, hey, Somi, you want to go out or you want to get together? And my question is, are we going to engage each other? Or are we going to be on our phones and engaging social media? And that's a valid question for me, because I'm like, I would love to get together with you, but not, these are my boundaries. These are my stipulations. Yeah. I'm not going to come and be with you with your phone. Right. We could do that virtually. Yes. Or we could do that on social media.
Right. We could just talk over social media.
Exactly. We could stuck so you can still be scrolling and doing everything and chat, multitasking and chatting with me. I really am very intentional about connecting with people, being fully present, not having my phone out, and that has taken some time. I'll be honest with you. There were times where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm always picking up my phone. Yeah. What's going on here? So it's an addiction to social media, but it's also an addiction to the phone.
Right. And that is going to help us to, for our social media time or our screen time, so call it. For me, I don't look at my social media or my phone in general when I first wake up. I just get out of bed and go do my morning routine without my phone.
Yes, that is so important. I have started charging my phone outside of my bedroom, or leaving my phone not in the bedroom, because everyone's like, well, I need my phone for my alarm clock. I was like, get an alarm clock, you know, like do that. So it's one of those things that I'm like, okay, whatever I need to do until I rewire my brain and I'm more disciplined to have the phone in the room on the nightstand and not in the bed with me. Right. You know, there's a lot of people sleep with their phones. And I feel, honestly, like my connection to my phone came when I was working in Nigeria. I was working I was on call 24/7.
Yeah.
So there were times where things were happening and I was so used to turning my phone off and keeping my phone away from me. And then I would wake up and I would have 26 text messages or a plethora of emails like, where are you? There's a crisis. Why aren't you answering? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, okay, so obviously I got to so that I had to unlearn even.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a social media thing. It was a work related thing.
Right.
But when we think about social media and screen time, one of the things we want to talk about, and it definitely advise people, is like, you have to, just like if you're a parent with a small child, you have a screen time conversation.
Yes.
So like adults, we need to have that conversations with ourselves.
Yeah.
Especially because of COVID, our screen time has doubled.
Yes. Yes.
And we now have to, iPhones have it. I don't know if other phones have it, but you put time limits for your screen time.
Mhm.
Just how much, because even just, we're saying, oh, we just checked for 5 seconds. But if you're checking throughout the day, every 5 minutes for 5 seconds, that adds up.
Yeah.
So even having a stipulation for your screen time, and then even the screen time you have, who are you following?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What does your feed look like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I have people that say to me, Somi, my social media feed is so triggering.
Yeah.
And that's when I'm like, okay, so you need a social media purge.
Mm-hmm.
You need to go through, who am I following? What is the content? Because interesting enough, the social media gives you that power to decide who you're gonna follow, what content you're gonna see. The algorithm is based on what you engage with. So you have complete control over this drug, how much you take it, when you take it, So I'm like, so here they're telling you, here's this drug, but you have complete control.
Right. Yes.
But a lot of us are like, no, you take control.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I know for me, it's like if anyone puts there's a time that I followed someone and they didn't put trigger warnings on their content. And so I unfollowed because I want to, because part of my job is to be aware and stuff, which is the hard part. But I need to be in that correct mindset. And when you don't put trigger warnings on there, that's the hard part. So I would unfollow, or like if there was just things that I didn't agree with, I would just unfollow. It's just simple. I know sometimes people can think that it's hard, but it's really not when it comes to unfollowing.
No, it's I think every week I do a purge, because at least my Instagram tells me the accounts that I'm most active with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And from that, I'm like, I'll go through, I'm like, when's the last time I even went to this person's page or I interacted with them? Why am I following them? And it could be somebody I know. And the other thing is sometimes you're following people, like I have a good friend of mine from elementary school. We talk probably every week, whether on WhatsApp or we text every week.
Yeah.
However, she's on Instagram. I follow her. She doesn't do anything on Instagram. So there's no need for me to follow her on Instagram.
Right.
So that's even one of those things, like I went through and I was like, well, why am I following her? It's not like and even if I'll tell her like, hey, I'm not following you on Instagram anymore. We talk on WhatsApp.
Mm-hmm.
And we engage on WhatsApp. We don't need to, if you're not doing anything on Instagram, then there's no reason. Now she's like, well, I'm going to follow you. And I'm like, well, that's fine because I do stuff on Instagram.
Yeah.
So you have stuff. I mean, it's not every day. And sometimes people are like, wow, you went a whole week and you didn't post anything. How are you going to increase your followers? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, even that element of likes and following has now become an addiction.
but they gave you the option to take off your comments and stuff like that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
they even gave you more control over how your social media is.
Well, but here's the thing with that. Why they gave that option was because the things that people were saying on people's posts were really damaging. Some of it was very damaging. They were saying very hurtful things. And, you know, you can hide behind your computer and say these things. And so but then people started realizing, I mean, especially this year, I don't know how many times people are like, you're not, it became my favorite phrase, you're not beyond deleting and following.
Yes.
So I don't care who you are, how I know you, if I don't feel like your content or what you're saying or anything is beneficial to me and my mental health and my emotional health, I have the power to delete you and unfollow you.
Yep.
And then they even give you now the option of, if you don't feel like you need to completely block them, because I've even gone to the part where I block people, you can restrict people. So they're giving us a plethora of boundaries that we can set to ensure that social media is used in a healthy way, because it can be healthy. You just have to implement these boundaries to ensure that you do not cross that line of this feels good and an addiction, or, you know, cross the lines of unhealthy engagement.
And another way to set boundaries for yourself so that you don't get so consumed with social media is detoxing.
Yes.
But with detoxing, you have to be willing to be uncomfortable.
Did you guys hear that? It is a brilliant phrase. And that goes with any kind of detox, but specifically digital detox. And what better way? It's just complete alignment. The universe is aligned in so many ways. Here's the thing about it. Tomorrow, Healthline is challenging people to do a digital detox. And I am one of those people that is going to be a detoxing tomorrow. I detox a lot, but I'm like, if I can get a plethora of people to come together and join this initiative because Healthline has been, I would say, since the beginning of May, they've been on this very focused on social media and its effect on mental health and purging your social media and how to disconnect. And so they're like, you know, Friday the 13th. What a better way to detox. The weather is getting warmer in many places. Get outside, engage with other people. And when I even say digital detox, I feel like they're going all digital platforms, not just social media. Because some people are like, well, I'm not on social media, but then you're on Netflix. Netflix is the other, you know, or all the other things, Hulu,
Pinterest,
everything. So a digital detox really means you are all digital platforms, anything, all screen time. If you want to see an improvement and start the trajectory of just being mentally well, you have to be doing frequent digital detoxes. It's so important.
And just like for a few ways, like a few ideas on how to do this. And if you can't do the challenge because that is just way too uncomfortable for you, start with having your phone not at the dinner table. That's a big rule in our house. When it's it doesn't matter if there's two of us sitting at the bar stools and one of us sitting on the couch eating, no phones. And so just little things like that. Have places in your house that you don't have phones at all, maybe the bathroom or something like that. What are your thoughts on that, Somi?
Oh, absolutely. The first time I got out of bed and I need to use the restroom, And I took my phone into the restroom. I was like, okay, Selmi, we need to have a sit down.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this, because this is getting a little much. So everything you just mentioned, absolutely. Because here's the thing, there was a time that we did not have cell phones.
We had magazines.
There was a time where none of this conversation, like we were at the dinner table and we talked to each other, and we watched movies and talked to each other and engaged with the movie instead of the phone. And we were at events and we engaged with each other. We took pictures, we did. I have pictures of being at events, but they weren't like 20 selfies and 30 pictures of the event. Yeah. It was actually more like communal pictures. Every now and then they'd be like, oh, wow, you take a picture by yourself. But it's not what it is right now. Like the other day I was getting ready for this event and a friend of mine was like, take a picture before you leave. And in true Selmi fashion, I'm in the car on the ride to the event. I was like, oh, I forgot to take a picture, because what's with people, it's like everybody's a model now. Everybody's an Instagram influencer. Yeah. So you have to take a picture, like 20, and then they have to be the right angles. And I'm just like, and for the longest time, I was an anti-selfie individual. Like it seemed very like narcissistic almost. Like people would, like I was watching people like in the streets, like this, like I watched somebody one time take 20 selfies of different angles. And I was like, in that time frame, a lot of amazing things have just happened. You probably missed the really beautiful bird that just flew over you. You missed the child laughing with their mother. You missed this, and we're just doing click, 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 click. Yeah. And now we don't have to be in the streets. We're in the bed. Someone says, send me a picture, click, click, and it's like 20 clicks. And so I don't feel like, I remember for years, I was like so uncomfortable. So my son is the one that was like, hey mom, let's take a selfie. And I was like, oh no. He knows what a selfie is. He knows how to take one. And so I really became very intentional about when my phone is, is it at the dinner table? Is it even in sight? Yeah. You know, for the first 3 to 4 years of Maro's life, he never saw me with a phone. Yeah. Unless it was like when I see with a phone, like I wasn't on social media and it wasn't like if I was completely focused on him. If it was me and him, it was just me and him. And then I slowly saw that changing. Yes. And so now I'm like, I got to change it back. Yeah. So, you know, the digital detox will do wonders for you as a person. It will do wonders for you as a family. It will do wonders for people in relationships. Yes. So it, you know, like I said, and Savannah said, if detoxing from all digital platforms is a little much, it's like, you know, going cold turkey and that's too much of a withdrawal for you, start small. Yeah. You know, start with, I will only check my social media, you know, during this time frame and only this time frame, and start there and let that be your daily goal, and then slowly, you know, inch back. Because I know for me, I used to be someone who would like always take pictures at events and stuff and post it on social media. But it wasn't until I started doing social media full time for Exceptional Heroes, I was like, oh man. So yeah, detoxing is always good. And I also even found myself when you know how Instagram has you're all caught up. I would find other ways to try to get more feed or whatever. So yes, make sure you put screen time on for yourself, detox in any way that is a little uncomfortable. And yeah,
But by the way, like and subscribe to this. I'm just kidding.
I love it. I love it. No, but I mean,
yeah.
No, but like that's the thing about it with screen time, even having the understanding that there's healthy content and unhealthy content. This, like and subscribe, because this is healthy content and this is information is going to be helpful for you. So the time you spend watching that fight scene of some people fighting in the street and somebody videotaped it and know all these bystanders and nobody helped it, and that's 10 minutes of your time, we're saying channel that 10 minutes to something that is going to be helpful to your mental health and ensure. And this whole platform, the Listen, Love, Connect, is about mental health. So what better way to fill your mind, your spirit, and make some really necessary changes so that, you find yourself in a better space on a daily, weekly basis.
Yes. Thank you again, Somi. This was a wonderful topic. And yep.
All right. Thank you.
In today's video, we talked about how social media affects our mental health, deleting and unfollowing, and unplugging. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something. But wait! Visit and follow these Instagram accounts. Check out my website, exceptionalheroes.com, to learn more about my patent pending therapeutic device and to buy some Exceptional Heroes merch. See you guys next time, and always remember to listen, love, connect. Bye!